hello to those of you who have joined us early for a special session, 15 minutes to honor Eriko Maeda ahead of the launch of our Impact Accelerator. We're 1 minute before the start. We'll give 1 more minute so that more people, more of our colleagues who want to join can do so. Okay, I think time is 1:45 in Geneva. I'll start recording this session. Also, we want to share the recording afterwards with Eriko's family and colleagues.
Recording in progress.
So thank you everyone for joining us in this special session to honor Eriko Maeda. We're deeply saddened and really shocked to learn that she passed away recently. She was a brilliant peer, a scholar in our May 2021 course, the WHO course on radiation risk-benefit communication. And she even applied to the Impact Accelerator program that we're launching today, in fact. And so it's with great sadness that we learned about that. And today with us in the room is a close colleague of Eriko with us, Osamu Miyazaki. Osamu, I would like to pass the floor to you for you to say a few words about Eriko, her life, her work, especially in radiation risk-benefit communication. Over to you, Osamu.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please accept my deepest sympathy. My name is Osamu Miyazaki. I'm a pediatric radiologist living in Tokyo, and I'm a vice chairman of Society of Japanese Pediatric Radiology, JSPR. I'm so sorry to hear that Dr. Eriko Maeda passed away last month, February 8th. She had had clinical history of lung cancer and brain metastasis since 2015. It's just 7 years ago, and chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and open surgery of brain metastasis had performed for her 6 times history of the recurrence. Eriko was one of the brightest radiologists regarding pediatric radiation dose reduction in Japan, especially in the pediatric cardiac CT dose, and she conducted a nationwide survey of cardiac CT dose, but it is just only begun. We have lost a captain. So she wrote a lot of academic papers and RSNA presentation, including Magna Cum Laude Award. And last year, March, she joined WHO Radiation Risk Communication, this meeting. And she's got a new friend like Dr. Dan, Maria, and Joanna, and many friends in all over the world. She was just 45 years old. I think she is still too young to die. I will really miss her, and may she rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Osamu, for those words and thoughts. And to everyone who just joined us, we are here honoring Eriko Maeda. I would like to invite you, if you have in any way interacted with her through remote coffee or other interactions during our course last year, please feel free to raise hand. We welcome to you to invite you to share your thoughts and words to her family and close colleagues soon. And now I would like to turn to Dawn for a few words, because Dawn, together with Joanna, who just joined us, as well as Maria, you interacted closely with Eriko. Dawn?
Well, thank you, and Osamu, thanks for your kind words. I know it's a tremendous loss for you and the community in Japan, and actually the world, based on what she had done. I'd like to thank the Learning Foundation too for this ability to honor a true champion for radiation protection. I had the pleasure of meeting her a number of years ago and began working with radiation communication in Japan over the years, and it was clear that she defined the word champion. Always enthusiastic, always really tireless, and her enthusiasm really bordered on passion. But what was striking about her was that this was always informed and always based in evidence and science. So it was just a wonderful marriage of these attributes that are so rare in people these days. So you had this remarkable, energetic woman who was always speaking from a standpoint of fact and really reason, and that's what struck me about her. I will say too that I believe that anyone who met her always remembered her. It didn't take much time for you to walk away from that even brief interaction, and she became familiar to you instantly. And I think we all saw during the initial phase of this, her investment in the project, her ability to connect instantly with the other folks that were participating in this, and that what she said really resonated across the world. And I'm just deeply saddened at this loss. I would like to say too, in knowing what Eriko meant to do, what her life work was, that she would be truly inspired about the next few weeks that we'll all go through. And I think in tribute to her and honoring her memory, that we keep an element of what her soul, what her energy was as we go through this, and remember really what she contributed to in terms of the care of children, and be mindful of this. So she will, throughout the next few weeks, and hopefully as your projects develop, I really believe that there is going to be the element, the spirit of Eriko in those things. So thank you all again for allowing me to say a few words, and I'll turn the floor over now.
Thank you very much, Don, for those words. I would like to turn to Joanna. Joanna?
Thank you very much. And I would like to say welcome, everyone, and welcome, Osamu. And I feel very privileged to be able to be here and join this little ceremony for Eriko. She was just incredible person, and I would like to follow Don with my admiration and admitting it about Eriko. I met her a couple of years ago during the AOSPR meeting in Seoul, and since then we just started working together and just being together. And she was always very enthusiastic, very passionate about everything what she was doing. Passionate about radiation protection, passionate about the pediatric radiology, and just everything. She was this kind of person. And what's really makes special about her, that during our project here about the radiation communication risk, she never wanted to go on the normal level, or she always wanted to take everything further. So she was thinking about this, how to take this project, how to implement it in Japan, how to implement it in Asia. So it was always the further goals, and she was pursuing it and doing it very, very successfully. And it was incredible sadness when I saw your email a couple of months ago about this tragic news. And I just wanted to show that I feel very privileged to know Eriko and be able to work with her. And her legacy and what she done will be with all of us everywhere in the world, because she was very, truly international person. And just a privilege to know her and working with her. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much, Joanna. I'd also want to invite Maria to say a few words before we do the 1 minute silence to honor Eriko. Maria?
Thank you, Sha. Welcome to all of you. Welcome back again to this place. It's really difficult to find words to express what I would like to share as my feelings. We were all shocked when we knew that Eriko would not be able to join us today. And today is a very special day because it's the 1 month anniversary of her departure from this life. And I just want to say that she was really an example of committed professional, a committed woman who really demonstrated from the very beginning that she wanted to continue learning and also to share this openness and teamwork ability, and I only can share now my deepest sympathies with her family, with her friends, and I join the messages from Don and Joanna. Eriko has now become our strong motivation to do this Impact Accelerator session in the best way and to put the best from us in her memory. This is all I want to say. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Maria. I would like now to ask Rita to stop the music and honor Eriko by being silent for 1 whole minute, starting from now. Thank you, everyone, for doing the 1 minute silence to honor Eriko Maeda, your peer from the 2021 May course on radiation risk and benefit communication. We still have 3 minutes before we kick off the Impact Accelerator. Before that, I want to ask anyone in the room if you have interacted with Eriko in any way. Now is your opportunity. We would like to invite you to raise your hand or simply unmute yourself to say a few words about your interaction with her. Right, I see that because of the live stream for the accelerator, we actually only have 1 minute left in this session. I thank everyone who have said your thoughts and shared your words to honor Eriko, Joanna, Osamu, Don, Maria, and everyone else who have joined us in this special session. The recording will be shared with Osamu, hoping that Osamu, you would forward and share this further with her family and colleagues. So with that said, I want to thank especially Osamu, who are joining us very late where he is, and everyone else for joining early to honor Eriko. Thank you, Osamu.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Osamu. And with that, I would like to hand over the floor to Rita. And also before that, just saying that it's not live stream. It's actually, we are in this room to kick off the Impact Accelerator. Over to you, Rita.
Warm welcome to you, the members of this course, rejoining alumni who successfully completed the course and have now been invited to join what we call the Impact Accelerator method. This is a methodology developed by the Geneva Learning Foundation, but really adapted in close collaboration with Maria Perez, with Joanna Casnia-Brown, and with Don Fresh. So we're going to kick off today. First of all, Ja has included an entirely appropriate reminder for International Women's Day. So thanking all the women who are working day and night for the health of patients and families, and in particular, of course, during the COVID-19 pandemic and in some cases, unstable security situations. Our purpose in this session is going to be to walk you through the process for the Impact Accelerator for Radiation Communication, explain what it is about, how it's going to work, what the expectations are, and already to begin working with you on the goal setting, on the thinking through the actions that you are going to take. And here, of course, we have a reminder of the course participants, the course itself. Wonderful experience. Here we have two screens of what seem to be very happy learners and participants. So it is a pleasure to be together with you once again. The purpose of the accelerator is actually to ask a very simple question. And that is, as you recall, of course, all of you developed an action plan to improve radiation communication around risk in the context of your work. And the simple question is, are you ready to take action? And obviously, if you're here, one is you went through an application process, you distinguished yourself through your participation in the course, and you have now been selected for this unique experience. Unlike the course, which was fairly open, even though there was also their rigorous selection process. The Impact Accelerator, as you can see, we are a much smaller group, and that is by design. So it is really the pleasure of being able to work together in close collaboration rather than a room full of individuals whose names you may or may not recognize. In the coming weeks, we're going to have the opportunity to really get to know each other and work hand in hand together. So here you can see that when we asked you in the application, how are you doing? What happened to this action plan that you developed? Well, you can see, now the scale is a bit confusing for me, but you can see that somewhere between 7 and 10.5 people had not yet started to implement their plan, and that a slightly larger number had started but not finished implementing their plans. And then this looks like maybe 1 or 2 people who completed implementing their plans. And then we also asked you, how much time do you require to finish implementing your action plan? So here you can see that depending on the nature of the project, and this is perfectly normal for people to have, one, it's difficult in some cases, it may be difficult to estimate. In other cases, so this may be a guesstimate, and then it really depends on the nature of the action plan, what is going to be involved. I want to mark a pause here before we go any further, because Maria Perez from the World Health Organization is the convener of this of the course, and then of course of the Impact Accelerator. So, Maria, I think it's entirely appropriate for you to first a word of welcome, and then second to hear what are your thoughts when you saw participants, course alumni, could have been satisfied with just having obtained a certificate from the World Health Organization for this course, But there is more. There is a yearning to actually take action, to implement these action plans. Can you share with us your word of welcome and your reflections on this?
Thank you. Of course, thank you, Reda, for giving me this opportunity to welcome again these colleagues, our colleagues from all over the world, and to share with you my happiness to see the response that we received from you when this idea was first proposed. In fact, last year the idea was born in a way, and it is really very motivating to see that those people who approached us last year to try to all together with this innovative peer learning approach to improve your skills that you already had, but to even improve them more and to help each other to improve radiation risk communication, risk benefit dialogue, and as an ultimate purpose to improve the quality of care of children in all regions of the world. To see that you are now committed to move one step forward. In fact, many steps, but let's say figuratively one step forward, which is to move from those things that you plan to a real action. And you already did it. I have no doubt that you have been acting these months, but now you want to really have a qualitative change to put this into action, and even more. And this is why this session is called, as it is called, Impact Accelerator. What we want to achieve and to support you and each other to achieve is more than the action. Really is to get some impact of the actions that you will take. And this is why today is a very special day, and it's also special because it is the World Women's Day, and already it was mentioned, but I think the composition of this group is gender balance, is perfectly geographically balanced, and really we have a very excellent representative sample of champions from all over the world, from all the regions of the world. And really, I am very much looking forward to these coming weeks to work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. We'll be hearing from Dawn, of course, and Joanna a little bit later. Now, we want to just be as clear and simple as we can in explaining what is this Impact Accelerator. And it's really, as Maria just said, about really making progress and doing it together. So what we will be doing in the next 4 weeks is what we call the Launchpad. And this is 4 weeks of really collaboration focused on your specific goals, again, in your work context. So it is not a course, but there is going to be a lot of collaboration, a lot of sharing of experience, a lot of really taking the practical steps to make progress. Now, your focus is going to be on making things happen instead of doing it alone. You'll be working with amazing peers, and you have already have this shared experience, no matter how different your context may be, because we do have, let me get myself out of the way, 24 scholars who've been selected for this program, 24 alumni, and 23 countries of focus. So before we go any further, I'd like to offer a round of applause, because you are already, as Maria said, on your way in this journey. Many of you have already started to implement, started to take action, and of course are doing so every day in your work. So we have, of course, the following countries represented: Brazil, Dominica, Egypt, Greece, Guyana, Ireland, Italy, Madagascar, Malaysia, Mexico, Nigeria, Oman, Pakistan, Peru, the Philippines, Portugal, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Sudan, United Republic of Tanzania, Uganda, and the United States of America. So all of you have a particular responsibility. This is not a massive course. You are few, and you are representing, at least symbolically, your country in this endeavor. Now, we've heard from Maria. I, of course, want to turn to doctors Donald Fresh and Joanna Casnia-Brown. Now, they are going to share their words of welcome and maybe say a little bit about how they see this new adventure or endeavor. Just so you know, they're mobilizing this network of support, of solidarity of the international community around radiation communication in your support. Let's start with Joanna, and then we'll go to Donald. If Joanna.
Yes, I would like to say hello to everyone, and it's just have you continue the project. And when Reda was reading the names of the country, it's really, really great that we have representatives from every continent and every country. And you will be a champions in your countries and in your region. And it's really good to have you and seeing you again as the second step. You've done the initial work, but now we are going to the second, most advanced level, and you already know all of your challenges and risks. And taking it further, it will be a good challenge and a good step forward, and will be a great honor and pleasure to do it together with you. And we'll try as much as we can through your journey, and also, as Reda said, to find the best support in your region. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Over to Don.
Great, and welcome once again to everyone here. And I'd like to step back just a minute and recognize and acknowledge the Geneva Learning Foundation for just the atmosphere they've created here. I think we saw this, those of you participating now a year ago in the initial part of this project, how communities develop, and I think the service, the remembrance of Eriko Maeda was just an example of the leadership of the foundation, and together with Maria, really convey a sense of the human narrative of this entire project. This is not just a formulaic kind of educational opportunity. It really feels that people involved in this are passionate and very motivated to work towards the better care of children. And so I'd like to thank the leadership for helping to do this. And I sensed with you all as we walked through these several months a year ago that there was this developing interest in improving radiation protection communication through a variety of projects, and was happy to see the progress that happened. But at the same time, was a little uncertain when that time ended where things would go. So moving ahead, then Joanne and I had a chance to meet in an international meeting and sit down, and we both at the same time said, where do we need to go? What do we need to do? How can we continue to support people that were so committed to their projects and make sure that we can move this ahead? And talk to Maria, talk to Min and Reda about doing this, and there was universal agreement that this was the right thing to do. And as such, reaching out to those individuals who participated, those of you on the call here, on the meeting here, answered that call. And again, everything about the last year, and especially with the acceleration over the next month, is just so rewarding to see, and it's just a privilege to work with Joanna and Maria on this, along with Min and Retta. And it's going to be a great month, and look forward to seeing the projects as they unfold, and know that you all are going to have an impact in your practice, and I trust will be a wider impact. To that extent, we're working very hard to connect you with experts within your region. That's happening both through the International Society of Radiology Quality and Safety Alliance, but we're also making connections through the ISRRT, and Maria and Joanna and I are trying to make some connections with you all too, to be sure that you have the resources, the support that you need in completing your projects. So I'm sorry for the long introduction. I will turn the floor over to the Geneva Learning Foundation leadership now, but I just want to thank you for your participation in this project. I feel like I'm getting the benefit of this more than you are. This is just so rewarding to see, and look forward to working with you all and seeing what changes you can make in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Don Frush. Now, I'd like to turn to the participants, because as you recall, we shared with you the Scholar Pledge to improve benefit-risk dialogue in pediatric imaging. I'd like to ask for a volunteer. If you'd like to, we'd like to ask an alum, someone who's completed the course, who's taken this pledge, to read it. It is showing on screen. So please raise your hand if you feel compelled to read it. Otherwise, I'm going to volunteer someone in the room. Let me turn to let's see, Guru Pangia Arun. Guru, are you available? We'd love to have one of the alums read this pledge, and really, as we each listen to it, there you are. Yes, are you able to see it on your screen? And do you accept the invitation to read what really represents your commitment and the commitment of everyone else in this room to improve the work that you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm honored to read this pledge. So, pledge says that it is a scholar pledge to improve benefit-risk dialogue in pediatric imaging. I'm committed to work for a world where every patient, everywhere, gets the greatest possible benefit from pediatric imaging at the lowest possible risk. And everyone will be informed, engaging, and sensitive in radiation. Benefit-risk dialogue is a duty for all healthcare professionals. We need to ensure that care is delivered in an equal and reciprocal relationship between professionals, patients, and their families in a way that information, decision making, I couldn't see the last bit. Decision making and service delivery become shared. That's it.
All right, and I'd like to ask if there is another volunteer. Let's go to.
I believe Janice once raised her hand. Janice, if you could unmute yourself, we would love to hear you read out this pledge.
Hi. As a scholar, I hereby solemnly pledge to 1. Provide communication for both radiation risk and benefits of pediatric imaging procedures in a balanced way in my practice. 2. Foster engagement of patients and families in radiation-based risk discussions for informed decision-making to provide the best possible patient-centered care. And 3, share resources and promote awareness among healthcare professionals to improve radiation benefit risk dialogue throughout the pediatric patients' care pathway. I make this pledge for the health of patients and families in my country and everywhere.
And this, of course, is a pledge that you have all taken and that you are striving to honor, that we are striving to honor together in the Impact Accelerator. Now, to get down to the specifics of what we are going to be doing together, you can see it here. There will be 4 weekly assemblies. This is the first one. There will be 3 others, and it is on this day at this time every week. I don't give the specific date and time because depending on where you are in the world, in the global course, the time and the exact time, and perhaps even the date will be different. 4 short sessions, so really kind of problem-solving workshops to share experience, and really, again, all focused on helping you in the context of your work, not in some abstract or theoretical way, but in a really practical, hands-on way to help you. 2 tools that I'll be sharing in a little bit, and that's most of you have, I'm sure, already seen, to help you get support from your leadership. It'll bring stakeholders on board. We know that implementation requires people to be supportive. Even if you have the best idea and the best plan in the world, it is not going to happen without the support of others. A tool also to help you set your goal, and then 2 times when we'll be asking you to report on your progress. Now, the way the reporting works is not about evaluating you. It's about sharing and understanding how we can better support you, and also sharing your lessons learned, your successes, the challenges that you're facing with the rest of the group. Again, a relatively small group, more a seminar than an amphitheater. And then there will be, of course, occasions to be social, to enjoy being human with one another, even as we're working on professional considerations and in a system where some of us may never meet. Now, the schedule will take us we actually started Monday, really to take action to achieve your goal. And then every Tuesday is the weekly assembly to share experience and really feed the action. So really nourish yourself from the sharing of experience, from sharing successes, lessons learned, challenges, hearing how colleagues are doing, are making progress, and hopefully that will feed your own motivation to do the same, to go further. On Wednesday each week, well, this is where you focus. There's no session. There's nothing to do for the program, but this is where we want you to be focusing. This is one of the days when we want you to be focusing on, what am I doing? I have a goal. I have an action for the week. What do I need to be doing in order to make progress on those? On Thursday, joining a short session, really, and again, to problem solve. And then Friday is when we'll ask you to report on your progress. Now we have a convenient calendar to share that should make it easy for you to make sure that this, if you use, whether you use Outlook or any other or Google Calendar, whatever it is, just click on this link if you haven't done this already. And you'll be able to see all the dates when there's a session in which you can participate, which you can join. We encourage you. We know many of you have challenging professional schedules, but we really encourage you to join these sessions, bring them to life. We're doing this with you, for you. It wouldn't make sense to be doing these activities without you. So we hope that you will be able to carve this into your busy schedule. Now, we have 8 scholars who, in their application, actually submitted challenges, and I'm pleased to say that we have prepared a single document where you can see, and I just shared the link in the chat now, where you can download this document and have a look. What are the challenges that others are facing? Why does this challenge matter? How did you identify this challenge? This is all the challenges, the information that was submitted as part of the application of these 8 individuals. I'd like perhaps to turn to, let's see, who is in the room. If you are on this list, please raise your hand so we can see you. Let me just see. All right, so Guru, we've heard from, and you are one of those who submitted the challenges. Let me see if who else. Otherwise, we may just turn to you again. And yes, it looks like we're going to go to Guru so we can hear what is the challenge that that you are trying to solve. Remind us first, what is the project, very briefly, if you can tell us what is your action plan, what do you want to accomplish, and then tell us about this challenge that you're facing. And this is really the warm-up. Of course, we'll be deep diving into challenges and problem solving together, but let's hear from Guru, and thank you for volunteering for the second time.
Just a minute.
Yep, Guru, are you there? You're probably looking for your challenge or what you submitted, which should be perfectly.
I can tell you my goal right now. So the goal which I planned was to improve radiation risk-benefit communication between the radiologist and imaging technologist in my workplace to do the justified and optimized pediatric imaging. Is it okay if I can share my screen so that it will be easy?
I can actually do that for you with respect to the, let me just go to the, here. Yes, so I've got your challenge showing up on screen now.
But then I'm just reading my goal. So my goal was to do the optimized and justified pediatric imaging test up to 90%. That was the goal, one of the goal. At the end of May 2022, I should be able to do justified and optimized imaging test in pediatrics imaging by the end of May 2022, at least to achieve a 90% goal. So that was one of the goals. And the other goal was to improve the radiation risk-benefit communication between imaging staff and patients to reduce the cancellation of imaging tests. So by less than 10%, actually there was we did an audit as part of this foundation program, Learning Geneva program, and we found out that it was more than 25% there was cancellation. And one of the goal was to reduce that cancellations only because of radiation risk. So there was a misconception for the patients and relatives. So we thought like to reduce that cancellation of imaging test by improving the communication to less than 10% by the end of May 2022. That was the second goal. So, but then as part of this program, I created a poster which was showing both what are the questions that can be asked by the family members and also by the patients to the imaging staff and also to the radiologist with concern to the radiation risks. So that was the poster which I created. And when I was discussing about this project to my section chief for implementation, I found out there was few challenges. And one of the challenge was
all right.
So he asked me to give the information in local language actually. So I was giving everything in English. But then he wanted me to give the information in local language and using the photographs of local people in the posters so that it will be more relatable. That was the suggestion he was giving me. But then, so to do that job, I delegated to my facility manager. And because of this COVID and etc. reasons, it was got delayed. And till now, it has not been doing any work. And because of this letter of support from those three mentors, I think I will be again getting into track. That's it. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Let's have a round of applause. We understood. No need to detail your action plan. I'm going to go to Masala Bendlela, and thank you, Guru, for stepping up for the second time in this session. Masala, are you able to unmute?
Yes, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. So let me look up your challenge. Can you give us the one sentence, the headline? What was your action plan about? Or what is your action plan about, I should say?
Okay, thank you. My action plan was that I would like to introduce a lecture towards my colleagues. I'm the radiologist in the Petersburg Hospital. So I wanted to have a lecture, but first in the department, in my own department, where I will give them the information that they need about radiation risk and benefit communication towards the patients. That will be from the radiographers that I work with, and then also from my colleagues, that is the registrars, and also my other consultants in the department. Then from there, I wanted to take it further to other departments, because we know that the pediatric department is quite vast. So I would go to all the other disciplines where they refer patients to radiology for imaging. So to start with the pediatricians, and then also go to all the surgical disciplines that need, who would refer patients to the radiology department for any form of imaging. So with that, I had already started with my head of department to speak to him about my challenges, my goals, and also the action plan that I wanted. Because I am in a tertiary institution, it's our I have other regional hospitals that refer patients to us. I wanted to further disseminate the talks to our regional hospitals that also have CT scans that are being done there. So I had spoken to my head of department if that was possible, but he had given me a go-ahead to do what I think is necessary to continue with the lectures.
Thank you very much, Masala. So now we're not going to begin to delve into your challenges, but I did want to illustrate what I can hear the wheels turning in both Masala's and Guru's narratives, trying to think through, working through the practical aspects of implementation. And in fact, this is what you will have a unique opportunity to work with all three of our subject matter experts. So Maria, Joanna, and Don, really focusing this time on the specific challenges that you are facing. I'd like to ask maybe just one of you, because of time, what will be your approach when you hear such narratives? What can you do remotely that can be helpful as you to help individuals in this program problem solve and actually help them implement in the once a week session that will be kicking off for the first time on Thursday? And I'll turn maybe to Joanna to kick off, or to answer on behalf of all three of you, if that's all right.
That's the responsibility for all of us. We had two similar but very different projects, how people are presenting. I really like how thoughtful both Guru and Masala are about their projects, because they are involving the other professional groups, that are involving radiologists, pediatricians, technicians. So this is really nice, because the whole group of people involved in imaging of the children is involved in the project, taking responsibility for the radiation protection. And this is what we all try to say. We are all one big family, and we just need to work together. Also, translating the information into the local language using the local pictures, it's absolutely brilliant idea. Or like Masala, going into the other regional hospitals. And I think that these points are really important, and hope that three of us, Maria, Don, and myself, will be able to help you to take this project even further, to look through the posters with you and point out what is important or what else needs to be added. So I hope that we can complement already the work what you are doing. And each of us did similar projects and introduce it to our own department and in our own countries. And we will be able to share the knowledge and experience that we already have in implementation and introduction of the similar projects. And sometimes it's just important to when you have questions or if you want to discuss some idea, just to have someone to do it with, and it will be one of us as a group, or it can be one of the other participants, because you are all working on the same projects and on the same ideas. So hopefully, by staying in close touch and in cooperation, we will be able to work and support each other in these projects. And this is what Don said before, that this is so amazing that it's not only you learning from us, we are learning from you a lot, and we are learning from each other, which is the best way forward. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joanna. I'm sure that Don and Maria would have fascinating insights, but what we'd like to do, rather than discuss it now, is invite you to come join on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Geneva time, so that's 1:30 p.m. Universal time. You should be used to Geneva time from taking the course. Now, by joining the accelerator, there is also hopefully practical help, so that you can be supported in your work environment. And that means usually getting the support from the people who make decisions, the people, your management, and we have prepared 2 tools to help you do that. So the first one on the left, and you have all received this, and a number of you have already used it, but I just want to re-emphasize and reiterate, I guess, these tools. On the left-hand side is a personalized letter of support. So this is signed by all 3 of these subject matter experts. It is from the Geneva Learning Foundation, but it's in collaboration with our subject matter experts and, of course, their organization. So we hope that it is a useful tool to present to your boss, to your boss's boss, to whoever it is that you need to show that this is a credible, legitimate enterprise, that you developed your action plan in the context of a course, with using the World Health Organization's best available guidance on this topic. And then the second one is actually for the people whose support you need. We've called it your leadership team, but it may be different where you work. But the people whose support you need can actually express that support by completing a form. You can see it takes 2 minutes to complete. And if they're willing to do it, it can be very helpful, hopefully, to you, also to them, to better understand what it is that they're supporting. So we encourage you to use these 2 tools, and you can see that the Dropbox, there's a Dropbox link.
Sorry.
Yes?
Can you share your screen? Because it is very small, what I can see from the letters.
All right. You can double click on it's true, I've spotlighted Joanna. What you can do is double click on my little window, and that should do it. Yep.
Sorry.
No, thanks for pointing this out, because I imagine everyone was having the same difficulty. And so what's amazing is that we've actually already received 12 testimonials from your leadership team. So the people you asked for to support your efforts actually shared testimonials. And here are some examples. This one is, again, about our colleague Guru in Qatar. And this is the testimonial of a senior consultant who says, fully support in all aspects in this radiation-related project. We're confident that he is a right candidate for it and wish him all the best in this regard. Furthermore, this person says, we are proud of his efforts. Idris Garba from Nigeria, so had a consultant radiologist at Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, share back the support to guidance, to supporting data collection, to reviewing of the protocol, and says Idris is an advocate of radiation dose limitation and review of protocols with hope of minimizing radiation dose to patients. I'm not going to share all the testimonials, but just the first few. From Uganda, we have Isaac Muwanguzi. We'll be sharing, of course, a slide deck so you can see what others have said about your project. I'm assuming most of you have seen and are aware, but if not, you'll be able to see what has been submitted to us. So this is the head of the department at Nakasero Hospital, who says we'll recommend him to HR for financial support, as the department will give him enough time to prepare for his presentations, and lastly, will offer a space to perform his CME session as planned. Then the testimonial explaining to patients on the risks and benefits has improved in the department. Emphasis on radiation protection, especially children, has improved since the study. So quite remarkable testimonials, expressions of support that we hope will translate very concretely as you work to implement your project in the coming weeks. Here, I'd like to turn perhaps to Don for his view. This kind of support, how unusual is it? That the learning, but also the action, the implementation of a project is supported in this way in a department, in a hospital or clinic or other facility where people who work in radiation communication do their work.
Well, thank you. And these testimonials are really great to see as we, the content experts, sort of discussed the project and what sorts of measures we would look for to determine potential success and success. One of the things we identified and that you all asked about was the need for resources and support to move these projects ahead. And I will say that without an active recruitment of these resources, sometimes they're difficult to come by. It's not that the leadership in a practice or a hospital, the administrators or health authorities are looking to identify projects and reach out to you all. It is, I think, important to begin that from the ground up and say, as you've identified, what we're doing, why this is important, and reach out early. And so that was an ask that we moved ahead on, and I think you all responded to that quite well. And I think what we're seeing, what you found is that this kind of project, this effort at really improving the understanding of imaging care, radiation, et cetera, between healthcare professionals and with parents and caregivers and for children is something that is easy to support. And that mission then allows those who allocate resources to get behind this. So I think that has been a successful early effort on your part, and I'm just really happy to see the responses. In my opinion, much more supportive than we originally anticipated in terms of providing space, providing time, providing, even if it's just a pat on the back for this for you all. So it is a little unusual to come organically, to have begun this as you all did, with this singular voice about improving the care for children has really resonated, I think, with many of the leadership domains in your practice, and I personally think it's great to see.
All right, thank you very much, Don. And 12 testimonials received so far. We're going to quickly show you who amongst the participants were a small group, because you're going to become familiar with these names. You're going to spend quality time, hopefully, with Stephen Mokoloma from Tanzania, Musa Mohammed Saif Al-Udaifi. You can see the support and the testimonial here. Of course, we'll be sharing the full slide deck. Omar Israel Mata Garcia from Mexico also has received the expression of support. 2, in fact, if I understand correctly, or 3. Takalani Ben Leila from South Africa as the support of the head of the academic department at the hospital. And then we have, all right, so actually several testimonials for support from these participants. Absolutely amazing. Again, if you haven't used the tools yet, I hope this will encourage you to do so and show you that using these tools can really result in additional, at the very least, clarifying, making explicit the support of your institution, so you are not going it alone or on the side. Now, to get back to practical considerations related to the program itself rather than your implementation, we do have to say a word about certification requirements. There will be once again a certificate that you can earn by completing these following steps. So you've already done the first one, which is the Scholar Pledge for Impact. The second is really participating in the weekly assemblies. The third is to set a specific and realistic goal. So we'll be asking you to really do that if you haven't done that in the application, and then to complete what we call the acceleration reports. As you're progressing, as you're making progress, we ask you to report on that progress, to share your lessons, learned, your successes, and your challenges. And this is not, again, a formal requirement or homework. It is really something we ask you to do so we can share with the entire group, and we can all be learning from each other. As you heard Joanna, Maria, and Don all say, that is really the spirit of this entire initiative. So here now we only have 15 minutes left, but we do, as you know, this is the most important time of the of sessions like this, which are really grounded in peer learning from each other. And I'd like to ask for volunteers. I see Idris Garba already has a hand raised, so maybe Idris will be the first one to introduce yourself, summarize your action plan, and then really, it's the goal, the target, for the Launchpad is Friday, the 1st of April. And so really what we'd like you to do in your presentation, summarize, give us the headline for your action plan. There's no need to go into the details. Tell us what you're setting out to do, what success looks like, but then really focus on that second question. What's the goal that you want to achieve in the next 4 weeks? And in a way, prove to us that you can achieve it in 4 weeks. In some cases, people have big, ambitious goals, far more than what can be achieved in 4 weeks. If that's the case, you just need to be more realistic and revise downwards. So let's go to Idris, and then we'll go to Janice, Pascal Ferrer, Iglesias. But let's, Idris, please go ahead. I'm asking you to unmute unless that hand is left over. Okay, wonderful. So please give us a quick summary of your action plan and then really focus on the goal. Prove to us that this is something that you're going to be able to achieve in the coming 4 weeks.
Okay. Thank you, Reda, for the opportunity to speak. Well, my action plan actually to be achieved in the next 4 weeks, and the poster to be tested in the imaging department for
At least I'm no longer hearing Idris. So Idris, it sounds like you have connectivity issues. Yeah. All right. That's going to happen. Idris, what I encourage you to do is to actually type your answers into the chat. It's a little bit more tedious than oral presentation, but that's a great way when you're stuck because of connectivity issues to be able to do that. And then let's go to Amani. I'm not sure who actually had the hand raised first, and Farah Tiana.
And also radiologist, which will perhaps educate organization tools. Okay, hello, can you hear me?
All right. There's
hello.
Yeah, I can hear now. Who is talking?
Yes, this is very odd. Idris, I would encourage you to update your version of Zoom because it sounds like you may be using an old version that doesn't quite synchronize with us. I do see Amani has a microphone open. Amani, please go ahead.
Yes. Okay. My initial goals are goals are specific to NICUs in Egypt, and we aim first orientation with focus as non-ionizing imaging modality, an essential skill for neonatologists, by hands-on courses, training of the residents in our unit, and then meeting with other departments, comparing and evaluating the results of ultrasound, CT, and MRI findings, and how can ultrasound, again, as a non-ionizing imaging modality, may answer a lot of questions. And the third is how to limit the use of CT and X-rays is the first imaging modality, and is very common in neonatal units, and how to limit this by using point of care ultrasound, and by using the clinical sense, and then by using documentation, so we won't miss in an emergency, and we do it and repeat it again. My challenge for the first for these 4 weeks is that due to the rotation system in the hospital, new juniors, doctors arriving every 2 months or so, so we have to repeat the orientation process and to emphasize the advantage and disadvantages of each imaging modality. We may use any of them, but rational use of ionizing imaging modalities. And my aim is during these 4 weeks is very practical, I think. It's to orient junior doctors during the morning rounds about the advantages and disadvantages of each imaging modality in a practical way through choosing the best modality for each patient and each clinical scenario. And you know, it's neonates are very vulnerable patients, and moreover, there will be a special focus on point of care ultrasound. We do the rapid assessment of neonate by ultrasound in the morning rounds. It should be included in the morning round with its new dimension in NICU orientation, how we can use it either for diagnosis, follow-up, and intervention, maybe. And its fundamental role in decreasing the use of CT scans and X-rays. I think the being practical, being doing it, repeated it during the morning rounds daily may lead them to be oriented with or convenient to choose which imaging modality in a practical and very beneficial to the patient. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It sounds like you're also very much thinking through a lot of the issues involved in your goal and in your with your challenges. So thank you for that. Unfortunately, I'm looking at the clock counting down, and we do run these sessions with Swiss punctuality. Of course, we would actually love to have the entire afternoon or evening or morning to spend with you, but we know that none of us have that luxury. And we know that when we ask you, what would you like? You always say more time, but when we ask you what is the biggest challenge, what is the biggest barrier to your participation, you say, I do not have enough time. So I'm going to complete sharing the information that we want to get to you. Today is a bit of an information dump, and that is of necessity. We don't like doing it this way, but the next sessions will be much more interactive. And I'd like you to review your goal, each of you, and to really ask yourself and just be very honest with yourself. Will you be able to achieve this goal by Friday, the 1st of April, 2022? Success in this Launchpad is really to achieve your goal. So you can also move the goalposts so that your goal is achievable, because what we hope is that in the next 4 weeks, you will build sufficient momentum that once this 4-week process stops, you will be able to keep moving on your own. That is what we are aiming for. And again, if we had time, so I'll invite you to discuss this perhaps in the Telegram group, or really to do a self-review, is to look at these goals and to ask, are they specific and achievable? And one great way to answer that, to sort of try to answer that question, is to say, well, if I have enhanced radiation risk benefit communication with patients, how will I know that I have achieved my goal? And if my specific goal is to provide risk benefit information to parents and children, how will I know that I have actually done it at the end of the 4 weeks? And probably you going to want to think about it being specific, realistic, measurable is a key. So for example, here, enhancing radiation risk benefit communication is missing something, is missing what are you going to measure to tell what you have enhanced and to what extent. Again, I encourage you to go through these and to think about these, reflect on these, and maybe there will be time on Thursday to raise these issues. Is quite a nice set collection of goals, and the question about each one of them is, can you make them better? Can you improve them? Because these are the characteristics of a useful, relevant, and realistic goal. Now, the other consideration is to really think through what action you are going to take this week. So the goal is your 4-week horizon. That's when you will have taken off from the Launchpad and be able to fly with your own wings. But there's also a short-term horizon, which is, today is already Tuesday. What are you going to do if your weekend starts Friday? What are you going to do by Friday? What are you going to have done? Where if we ask you, so what did you do this week? You'll be able to say, I did this and I completed this action. And again, you don't need to be overly ambitious. You simply need to set an action that is realistic that you'll be able to complete this week. And you need to ask yourself these 4 questions to sort of self-assess whether your actions are likely to be, to be doable. And so we encourage you to focus on small activities to just get things moving and build that momentum. You don't need to try to do everything at once. Ja has put together these 6 examples, such as presenting your action plan to management to get their feedback and support if you have not done that. The leadership tools that were shared, you've seen some of your colleagues have already been successful at carrying out that action and getting that support. So your next steps are really to revise your goal if it's overly ambitious, unrealistic, insufficiently feasible. And chances are the first time you define a goal is that will be the case. It's rare that when you set a goal that you get it right the very first time. So I want to encourage you to revise and think through that goal. And then on Wednesday, you probably shouldn't wait till Wednesday, but certainly Wednesday there's no other activity, so it is about taking actions to achieve your goal. Thursday is an incredible opportunity to actually join Joanna, Dawn, and Maria and your colleagues who are in this Impact Accelerator together and really focus on someone's challenge. It could be yours, it could be someone else's. But even if it's not your challenge, you can learn from it and take back things that you can use for your own challenge. And then on Friday, of course, that's when we'll ask you to submit your action, really to sort of report back on, to confirm. You said that at the beginning of the week, you said that you would do this. Have you done it? If you have, tell us about it. Then it means it's a success. We want to know what were the ingredients of that. And if you didn't manage to carry out the action that you had set for the week, tell us what happened. Tell us what the challenges and barriers were. And that will be an opportunity for all of us to reflect on it. So then what you will get is, and the first thing really is by Friday, is to submit. It's a 2-question questionnaire. So the 2 questions are, what is a specific goal you'll achieve by Friday, 1st of April? So 4 weeks from yesterday. And you have 128 characters. So you have to be short. It has to be a very short, concise sentence. You cannot go on and on. This is my goal. And have 35 different things that you're trying to achieve. You choose one and you write it out in as simple language as possible, because you only have 128 characters for anybody who uses Twitter. That is half of the Twitter character limitation. And then the other thing we ask you is, what is the action you will take this week to achieve your goal? So what is one thing that you're going to do this week that will help you make progress towards achieving that 4-week goal? So that is your first task with a deadline to submit by this Friday. And then, and this actually responds to one person asked me, is it possible that the information for my application form be available to me for my administrative manager? In principle, when you submitted, as long as, unless there is you received a receipt, which is an email that contains your full answers. Now, if that wasn't, maybe that wasn't configured properly, we'll double check that, but you should have that. Otherwise, we should be able to share it with you. And then so you can see here the email notification. That's for your own benefit. You can see what you said you would do, and that also will help us ask you, so did you do it? And it's not getting it right or wrong. We won't judge you if you haven't done it. What's most important, what's relevant, is actually understanding the mechanisms. What happened? What went into success? If you achieved your action for the week, if it didn't work out, did you change it? Perhaps you had to change and adapt, and that is fine as well. This is not about implementing something very rigid in a very rigid way. It is about also adaptation. So maybe you change your action, and the action that you came up with is better than what you had originally conceived. That is where we learn about implementation, is really through that practice. And then we have something that you experienced, of course, in the course that we'll be doing again. And this is a remote coffee. In this case, it's about being social, about being human together, this defying distance. You may be speaking with someone who's in a context, in an environment that's completely different from yours, but that actually has the same purpose of implementation. And then if you're not already connected to the Telegram announcements, then I urge you, I'm going to post a link here into the chat. You can join right now if you're not there yet. And make sure that you have notifications turned on. So go look in your preferences now. It depends how much you use Telegram, but you'll probably want to turn off all notifications. That's what I do, except the groups that you're really paying close attention to. And Ja has highlighted that this is the same channel used for the course in May 2021. And I see that we're now over time. So there's a resource folder, which we'll share the link for. And then you have the convenient calendar to add to your own calendar. So if you use Outlook, for example, you can have all of these dates, all of these upcoming events in the work calendar that you use every day. And if we make a change for any reason, your calendar will be automatically updated as well. All right. I think we are unfortunately out of time. I am going to turn to Maria, who opened this session, for closing parting thoughts before we go. Maria, over to you.
Well, we are out of time, but just to say that this has been a great starting session. I think we are all very motivated. We know all what is expected from each of us, but if not, we have the channels to interact between us and to really try to do things as it was proposed here. So now the idea is to start thinking on these objectives or goals for the 1 week, for the 4 weeks. And as we discussed already with Don, with Joanna a few days ago, we are not asking you to stop thinking beyond the 4 weeks. Of course, you can and you should have your ultimate goals beyond that. But what we want to do together these 4 weeks is to come up with some concrete objectives and goals and to help each other to achieve them. And if not, at least to learn lessons from that. So having said that, I want to say thank you. And again, thank you a lot to the Geneva Learning Foundation and to, not to the foundation as an abstract thing, to the people from Geneva Learning Foundation, to Sa, to Reba and others that we cannot see on the screen, to Don, to Joanna, because it's a privilege for me to work with you, to Osamu, that I was reading that he's with us today, and it was a privilege and a honor, Osamu, that you stayed. And because in a way I felt that Eriko was with us also, celebrating her life in the best way we can, and it is working. So thank you to all of you for committing to this project, and I really very much look forward to working with you and others, because there are other colleagues who have already expressed their willingness to support, to mentor. So I'm sure at the end of these 4 weeks, our family will have grown and expanded towards the future. Thank you very much.